What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Today is the day that a lot of cosplayers have decided the pandemic is over. At the time of this recording, the room blocks for Katsucon went live. The Katsucon Hunger Games have begun. The Hunger Games lasted a whole hot-ass 5 minutes. The room blocks went live at noon and sold out by 12:05. That quick.
Wow.
That was definitely quicker than I expected it to sell out. At 11:59 and 45 seconds, I clicked the link to take me to the booking site. I got in. By the time I put in all the names, my payment information, I hit finish checkout. Sorry, rooms are all sold out. I talked to a couple of my other friends and they all got kicked out as well. And the general consensus was the rooms did sell out in 5 minutes. That's why I opened up this podcast by saying cosplayers have determined the pandemic is over because they're booking rooms even faster than before.
Damn.
If you've been keeping track, there was Katsucon earlier in June. Hallmat or Holiday Matsuri in Florida, their room blocks just went live. Those rooms are almost sold out. That con's in December. And now Katsucon said, screw you, 5 minutes, we're sold out. This has been the fastest I've seen Katsucon sell out in all the years I try to get a room. So with Katsucon booking up so fast, in 5 minutes or less, how's that making you feel about our peers or the cosplay community? Like, are they being reckless or is the pandemic really over for them?
I think it's a combination of both. It's not that they don't want to go out and experience these things and go out and have a good time at a convention. It's that they want to pick and choose where they want to do it at. So when I'm seeing this, how fast and quickly the rooms got booked out, I'm like, so it's not the problem of, COVID happening and the pandemic still happening. It's the problem that there just wasn't anything going on that you wanted to do personally. So that just got me thinking, it's like, so is COVID a problem for you guys or not? Like, there's a lot of you out there still talking about you don't want to go to parties, you don't want to go out and, to those people, and you're probably one of those people who booked out all the rooms. What does that mean for you? Like, do you just not care, or this is finally something you actually want to do?
I've seen people who have protested against every con, even cons coming down the line. I saw some people talking shit about all the people wanting to go to Holiday Matsuri, but yet here they are a week or two later frantically booking a room for Katsucon. Katsucon is 2 months after Holiday Matsuri. We've mentioned this before. What's going to make you feel safe about going back to a con? A lot of the justification for Katsucon has been, it's in February, that's 8 months from now. By then, a lot of people should be vaccinated. Fair enough. And just because you are vaccinated doesn't mean you're not going to get sick. Let's be honest, we've all been to cons and just gotten sick on some regular ass shit.
Right.
Like con crud and all that stuff is real. You go to a big con like that during the winter time, there's a high chance you're going to come home sick.
Right.
I know people that go to summer cons and get sick.
It's kind of scary to know that there's certain states who are going to be fully open as early as next week. There's going to be states that are just not regulating social distancing. They're not mandating masks anymore. They're not mandating anything whatsoever. So it's going to be scary to think, at least personally for myself, because I haven't been sick with anything for a good year and a half now, from anything, just from not being out in public, just from wearing a mask all the time, and always just from constantly social distancing myself. I have not been sick. I haven't had one single sniffle or sneeze this entire time. So it's going to be one of those things where it doesn't matter how clean I am. As soon as I go somewhere, I'm going to catch something.
That's true. I never even thought about that. I haven't really looked back and thought about how healthy we've been during the pandemic. Wow. Even in California, I would always at least get sick once or twice a year because of my nasty coworkers.
Oh, yeah.
There was this one dude in particular that always got me sick because every time he was sick, I can guarantee 2 weeks after him, I was sick. I used to have my own office where my desk was at least 8 feet away from the door, and I would make everyone talk to me at the door. Do not come in my office. You stand right there and talk to me. And I still got sick.
Yep.
Just in passing from these people.
Same. I was completely isolated around the time before the pandemic started happening. And I was always washing my hands constantly, always doing the best that I could for myself, but it didn't matter. For some reason, I always got sick. I always ended up catching something. It didn't matter.
Speaking of being around people at cons, rooms have been booked. Hunger Games are over. Now it's time to determine who do you share your room with. This has been a concern for a lot of us. I know I've thought long and hard about what kind of rooming situation can I put myself into going back into the con world. I've never been about that packed room life. Even in recent years, I've had to do it just because I was traveling from California to a con and I kind of had no choice because it was like last minute. Now with the rooms being sold out, phase 2 of the Katsucon MCU adventure is now, how many people do you put in your room or who do you room with? My phone's been blowing up all day from people hitting me up if I have a room, if I know anyone. Also, I've been hitting up people and asking my personal friends if they have rooms, and it's just been a nightmare today. The struggle for Katsucon is this. It's one of these cons that you want to be there at the con hotel because everything happens right there. There's no convention center. There's no nothing. Everything happens at the Gaylord. At any given moment, something awesome can pop off and you'll wish you were there. Or at any given moment, you can be exhausted and tired from just dealing with the traffic of the con, just the people everywhere. You might want to rest. So those are definitely key points to why you want to stay at the Gaylord. Also, it's in February. Never know what the weather's going to be. Even with the hotel across the street, the Residence Inn, you still got to walk across the street to get to the Gaylord.
Right.
It may be a short 6-minute walk, but when that winter chill hits your booty, ooh, butthole's gonna pucker up. And sometimes you ain't about that life. Just so we can see where you're at, Shana. When it comes to rooming, like, what's your deal breakers?
Deal breakers is, it's pretty standard to have 4 people in your room.
Yeah.
But I don't even really want to do that, honestly. I really don't. And I know those hotels around that area is really expensive. I've never been to Katsucon, so I would love to experience it for the first time, but not at the cost of rooming with 8 people or more for an expensive hotel just to be there in the midst and the thick of all of it. I would rather have something cheaper and only have like just me and you or me and you and maybe a third person. But I think 4 people's pushing it for me.
Yeah.
It would have to be like the cleanest person on the earth to be a 4th person in the room. I don't know. It's one thing being at an event, but it's another thing being in the same room as these people. Because I don't know how crazy you guys get or how dirty y'all are. Like, I can't.
Yeah. Looks like you're not going to be going to a lot of cons anytime soon.
Well, because a lot of cons aren't that expensive either.
No, I should say, it looks like you're not going to be rooming at cons anytime soon. I forgot. Most of the time that we're in California, you didn't travel out of state to other cons.
You did.
I did for business purposes, but when it came to Cali cons, we always just commuted, hung out for the day, went all the way back home. Drove back, even if it took us an hour and a half to get there. I mean, because an hour and a half in LA traffic ain't shit. We're pretty much used to it. So for a location to be an hour and a half away, we would just commute and just go hang out for the day, pack our little cooler with food and lunches and drinks, keep all our cosplay. So we were good for the whole day. I totally forgot you haven't been about that packed con life in a while.
Yeah, and even before the pandemic, 4 was my limit. Just because there's people who get overzealous when it comes to conventions, and they just want to invite the whole world over to your room and just have all of these, things going on. And I just didn't like that fact either. I don't like people going in and out all the time.
Yeah, you had your fair share of surprise roommates.
Oh, yeah.
You told this in a podcast early on when we did the podcast about convention rooming horror stories where you were actually the extra uninvited person. You and your group, the room leader didn't even know that the friend that she invited was bringing, 3 or 4 other people with them?
Yeah.
And their room was already packed with like 6 to 7.
Oh, yeah. I can still hear her voice to this day. I have 10 people in my room.
Oh, poor girl.
10 people.
And that's one of those things where you don't want them But are you going to be the bitch that just kicks these people out and give them nowhere to stay? It's one thing to have people just come and hang out real quick, but these people are depending on you.
It's also the fact that that wasn't the plan. That's why I get kind of iffy about a lot of people being in the room, because people do tend to get overzealous with that kind of shit. And in my situation for that story, that person did get overzealous. The person who had the room in the first place didn't need me to tag along. They already had 6 people in that room. And then my friend brought me and 2 other people. It just was unnecessary.
Just hearing about your situation just brought a meme to mind. I saw one that said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but now that con season is starting back up, no, your friend can't stay here for free, so stop asking. And then all the comments were like, man, I'm so tired of rooming with people. And there's always someone that's trying to sneak in their friend for free. Like, bitch, the rest of us paid for this room.
Right.
What makes your friend feel so special that they can just stay here for free? I don't care if they're crashing in the toilet, crashing in the closet. They ain't staying here for free. We've definitely had our fair share of that, where we've committed to 5 people. And then next thing you know, 2 more people are added.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my biggest gripes about rooming with certain people is I'd like to know what I'm getting myself into. That's why when I go to cons, I like to book the room myself. That way, I can have control and I can guarantee everyone what I pitch to them. If I say it's going to be 4 people, it's going to be 4 people. I'm not afraid to tell someone no when they ask if we have space, even if they cry and plead. I'll bring an air mattress. I'll be out the way. Too bad. This is what we signed up for. This is what we're getting.
Oh, yeah. And real quick, there was a convention that we were going to, and one of our roommates, being the overzealous person that she was, and still is to this day, decided that it was a good idea to maybe bring along a few more people, making our already room of 4, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? No.
Would have been one thing if we discussed it earlier, but this news was dropped on us a couple days before the con. We were packed and ready to go, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I've added some more people. I'm like, are you serious? You can't just drop this on us a couple days before the con. The con itself wasn't even that expensive.
Oh, yeah. And it's people like that person where I'm very wary about who I room with because of things like that.
Yep, that's happened to me so many times on my own. One of the last ASINs I went to, my friend had a suite. 6 people was already pushing it. But it was a king-size bed, a pull-out couch. I'm like, okay, the king-size bed technically fits 3 people. That's what they advertised. The pull-out bed fits 2. That's 5 spaces. She wanted to have 6. One of her friends brought his own air mattress. Cool. I'm like, 6 people, it's a suite. That's the max, whatever, I'm good with that. Same shit. 2 weeks before the con, I already bought my plane ticket from LA. She adds 2 more people, and I let her have it. I was like, dude, that's messed up. You put me in this messed up position now. I already bought my ticket. I can't get a refund. I can't back out, and I already turned down other rooming situations. That was the most disgusting room I've ever been in. It smelled every day. Some of the roomies were like first-time con-goers.
Oh, God.
At that. Never left mommy and daddy's house. They were barely even 18. I was like, what kind of shit are you putting me into? She's like, oh, no, trust me. They're all 18. I'm like, yeah, but still, y'all got me in this room with a bunch of young-ass little kids.
That too. I can't trust people, man.
Not young by age, but just young mentally.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the room mess after day 1. Like, who raised you? Who eats food, leaves it out all day, goes get more food, and just keeps piling up? Their justification was, oh, this is our corner, we'll take care of it. But your food is rotting and stinking up the room. It's not like they were eating food that didn't smell. They had things that emitted odor after a while, You can't put out yogurt and milk and let it just heat up.
No.
I don't even like the smell of yogurt to begin with, and Shana knows this. She tried to offer me yogurt the first time we met. I was like, ew, yogurt. I hate the smell of yogurt. I have no idea why. I just hate it. But imagine yogurt just sitting on top of a heater, and that's just these two's pile of food. And then this other dude had his pile of takeout, and for some reason, no one put anything in the trash. Everything would just sat out wherever they ate it. So
there's you some mommy and daddy's house.
Yeah, so by day 2, I was ready tiptoeing over trash and food. I couldn't even sleep. half the time because I could smell it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are like us, you got to be room leader so you can call the shots and enforce it. My friends said they were going to enforce it, but they didn't do shit.
That very same person is the epitome of the reason why I don't room with more than a certain amount of people and with certain people in general, because as nice as that person is and as nice as they want to be to other people, but you can't do that in these kind of situations. You can't just let everybody be in your room. Because imagine if, like us, like we have expensive things in the room as well. Not saying that everyone's going to steal your things, but you don't know who that person is going to bring over as well. Because I've been in many situations where people will just invite random people into the room, and you don't know that person. You've never met that person. And even if you did, it's like, I don't really trust this situation right now.
I've had friends who had camera stuff broken. I've had friends who've had cosplay stuff broken just because one of the roomies invited one of their friends who just wasn't paying attention. Yes, us as roomies, we know that's Shana's corner, that's Renji's corner, so we all avoid it. But when you get your friends in and they're just trying to find a place to sit, they don't know what they're sitting on. It could be like a pile of stuff that they end up moving. They could either break it or ruin something. One of the last cons I went to before the pandemic, we did have a situation. Somebody brought a guy into the room. Seemed innocent enough. They didn't tell us they were bringing over a friend. Me and my two other roomies were just chilling. They come in the room. Hey, this is my friend. Let's just call him Mr. Hennessy. Y'all will get that reference later. Dude introduces himself. Apparently, he's heard of me through my YouTube or whatnot. He wanted to prepare a gift for the room. I was like, oh, okay. This is a little different. He watches my little YouTube channel. He didn't want to just come in empty-handed.
Right.
He's like, my parents taught me you don't go into someone's home for the first time without bringing a gift.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, Asian boy. You was raised right. I'm thinking it's going to be cool. That's different. I've never had someone offer me a gift to come hang out in my room. This dude busts out 2 personal bottles of Hennessy.
Personal bottles?
Yeah, like the little joints, like the little $10 joints.
Oh, come on.
But he had 2.
Okay.
He had 2.
Okay.
Well, mind you, he bought them from the hotel liquor store. So those personal bottles probably cost him like $15 each.
Right.
Unfortunately, none of us in the room drank Hennessy.
You're like, it's nice, but...
You still got the receipt? Can I go exchange this? Everything started off cool enough, right? My friend, let's call him Sam. Sam brought Mr. Hennessy into the room. We quickly learned Mr. Hennessy's kind of got a crush on Sam. Sam's just trying to relax, change out a costume, eat some dinner. But Mr. Hennessy just slowly putting on the moves and trying to like put some game on Sam. And we're like, okay, is this Sam's little con boo for the weekend or something? Mr. Hennessy's trying to like befriend us. It's not working. He's quickly annoying me and my 2 other friends. Mind you, we are very chill people. We'll tolerate a lot of bullshit, right? But Mr. Hennessy simultaneously got on our nerves, all 3 of us. So that's when I knew, all right, this dude's a problem. We had a group chat for the room, and we're all in the group chat. Is Mr. Hennessy getting on your nerves too? Yep. Sam was even like, yep. And then we looking like Sam and like, you brought this dude here. If he's getting on your nerves, why do we have to deal with it?
Right.
This bottle of nasty Hennessy ain't cutting it. He's slowly making like advances on Sam now and just trying to kiss up on Sam, and Sam's not having it. So now I pull Sam to the side like, yo, this dude bothering you? If this dude is bothering you, we will remove him. I don't care about being nice.
He will be removed.
Yeah. It's like, my 2 boys here are from Chicago. They don't give a shit. We don't know this dude. This is my room. Sam's trying to be nice. Mr. Hennessy just gets more and more obnoxious. Then he's rolling around on the bed, making himself comfortable. I'm like, yo, that's my side of the bed. I was like, dude, you better get your ass up. Anyways, we order food for dinner. We're thinking Mr. Hennessy's going to leave. He's been in the room for 45 minutes now. We thought he'd just walk Sam back, but he just steady hanging out. Oh, what you guys getting to eat? Oh, Grubhub? What you guys getting? Steady sitting there, not getting a hint, because Sam was still like, it's cool. Then we got to a point where we're like, no. This dude's getting on the nerves. So the food came. We hurried up and ate. Then we all made a group decision. All right, everyone out the room. So we're walking. Sam finally gave us the okay to just get this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
So we are leaving. We're all going to a place. We didn't say where. Mr. Hennessy's just tagging along, just talking to us. And then finally, my boy just turns to me like, look, Mr. Hennessy, you can't hang out with us. You've overstayed your welcome. Thank you for the Hennessy. Even though none of us want to drink it, you got to go. We're trying to do our own thing. We're trying to do this room thing. You're not one of our roomies, so can you go?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I mean, I can get some more liquor. You know, what do you guys want? We're like, nah, that ain't it, homie. You just need to go.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do this thing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where you guys going? Can I meet up with you after? No. Then finally, I forgot who said it. They're like, dude, we just don't like you.
Damn.
You're annoying and you're creeping our friend out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well, can I see you guys tomorrow?
No. Bro.
He did not quit. And that's just the shortened version of that incident in the room. The next day, I was in the dealer's hall. I saw Sam walk by. 30 seconds after, I saw Mr. Hennessy quickly trailing behind Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at Mr. Hennessy and then looked at Sam. This dude is legit stalking Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like, I text Sam, I'm like, you know Mr. Hennessy's right behind you, right? No, really? Yeah. Stand at that booth, look towards the booth with all the cat ears.
Mm-hmm.
Sam turns around. Sure enough, holy shit, this dude's following me.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, you keep walking, and I'm going to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
So let me play this game of cat and mouse. And this dude legit was following Sam for a good 5 minutes.
Wow.
Until I ran into him and delayed him and told Sam to leave. I'm like, this dude is following you around this con.
Mm-hmm.
We already got those stalker vibes in the room just by how Sam broke it down to us. Comes to find out, Sam and Mr. Hennessy weren't even friends like that.
Oh, wow.
They were like Facebook acquaintances. He just happened to run into Sam and followed her up to the room.
Happened.
Yeah, happened. Keywords.
Quote unquote.
Comes to find out, Sam didn't even technically invite this dude to the room.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hennessy just invited himself. But once he heard it was my room, that's when he tried to put up a good show by buying us Hennessy.
Oh, but he's a good guy.
Yeah. And funny side note about that Hennessy, one of my boys ended up drinking it anyway, but he looked so miserable drinking it. He's like, I don't want to go to waste. We drank all the tequila. We could go get more, or I can drink this Hennessy. So he's literally just taking sips, making boo-boo faces after every sip. Like, dude, just stop. None of us paid for that. Just throw it away. No,
poison.
no, I don't want it to go to waste. Like tears were coming out of his eye. Bro, throw it away. No, he didn't throw it away. It took him the entire day, but he slow sipped and drank all that Hennessy because he didn't want it to go to waste.
Right. He could have just gave it away to someone.
Yeah, he didn't even have to open it. We went to another room party, and I told him to donate it to their room party because they would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Their room party had offered us whiskey and things we drank. I'm like, dude, just give him the Hennessy. No, man. I'm going to drink it.
Oh, my God.
That was the only positive thing that came out of the Mr. Hennessy experience was we watched my friend pretty much drink poison and cry.
That's not positive.
But it was funny. It was funny to look back and just see him torturing himself because he didn't want to waste a gift.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's how his mama raised him.
Well, honestly, the only time I've ever really drank Hennessy like that was at a family get-together. You know, when people don't know what to drink, they just bring the cognac or something.
Well, stereotypically, Asians and black folk love Hennessy.
I mean, that too. But I've also seen it amongst like people who smoke a lot of weed who just want to keep that slow drawl going. Because that's exactly how I feel after I drink Hennessy. Is that slow rocking in the rocking chair, kind of sipping sweet tea by the bayou, kind of slow.
I didn't even have to drink Hennessy to not ever want to drink Hennessy when I was younger. I remember this lyric from an Ice Cube song in the club. Ice Cube says, "You know how the homies act when they on the cognac." That means when people drink cognac, they go crazy and they fight in the club. I was like, that happens when you drink alcohol? You fight? I don't want any cognac.
I mean, I tend to be a little bit more honest when I'm drinking a little Hennessy. Time and place with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You got to be around people you know and trust.
Hennessy ain't for everybody.
It's not.
Trust me. Even if you drink, Hennessy ain't for everybody.
Nope.
People be getting twisted. Certain alcohols do certain things to certain people.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about learning what's your fun alcohol. What's your I'm going to spill out my emotions alcohol? What's the I'm going to get a hangover tomorrow, but I can drink this because it tastes good alcohol? Like, we all have our limits. So make sure you learn it. So that way, when Mr. Hennessy comes to your room and brings you a bottle of Hennessy, you can turn it down. By the way, I just said that. When Mr. Hennessy comes to your room, it makes me feel like he's like the con tooth fairy and he brings liquor to your room. But then he annoys you and you have to kick him out.
If y'all ain't drinking tequila, I can't drink with you.
The UV vodka days are over.
Man, somebody brought that up in a meme earlier, and that's a totally sidetrack, but really quick. Somebody brought that up and was like, am I the only one, or are kids nowadays not even appreciating the UV blue experience?
I just saw that too.
They're like, nowadays people are just drinking seltzers the whole time. They don't even know the trauma that we all had to go through, like our rite of passage with UV blue back in the day.
Oh my God. So many of her con friends were either about that UV blue life or that flavored Smirnoff life. Ugh, I don't even think about those days.
Smirnoff Ice.
I'm talking about the extreme. Like, one of her boys had like Smirnoff cupcake.
Oh.
And just all these sweet desserts.
Oh.
And it's not funny to joke about, but I was like, what underage person are you trying to lure in your room? Because that's all who drinks that shit.
A lot of that stuff is just teeny bopper kind of drinks. Like, I'm all grown up now. I need some real alcohol.
Yeah, that's why I kind of felt uncomfortable. I'm like, good thing you ain't rooming with me, because that's jailbait,
I'm like,
literally.
I know, it's like I haven't drank schnapps since I was 15. Come on.
Yeah.
Peppermint schnapps and peach and all these stupid flavors.
You brought a whole suitcase of things that high schoolers drink, and you a grown-ass 20-year-old.
I can't. Another thing to keep in mind is how your roommates at a con are going to use the space in the hotel room. It's one thing to just pick a corner and that's just going to be your designated space, but it's another thing to turn the entire room into your own personal cosplay making factory. I had the unfortunate opportunity to room with these two people for a convention who ended up just using our space in the hotel room as a last minute cosplay con crunching experience. Like, they were still working on their costumes during the convention and just monopolized like most of the room and just had their stuff everywhere. Armor pieces were laid out on both sides of the bed. We had 2 queen size beds in the room and they had all of their things just laid out on everybody's space. One person was hand painting delicate little things on their costume, like little flowers or whatever, and they couldn't move that piece obviously because they were like still painting on it and it had to dry. And then somebody else has something like a big piece of armor drying in the corner on like the furniture pieces, like the couch and the chairs and everything. And I'm just like, what in the cosplay crunch is going on here? It just turned into a war zone. Like, we all had to tiptoe, like we're walking around landmines in the room because everything was pretty much wet, still with paint on it, and we all had to wait for everything to dry. So we couldn't even get to our suitcases. We couldn't get to our personal things. And one of the girls that was working on her cosplay, she had brought her boyfriend, and the boyfriend accidentally smeared like one of the flowers that she was painting and messed up her cosplay, and then she just had a bitch fest and just went off on this poor dude. Come to think of it, this girl was a total diva the entire time that we were at this convention. She just would not let this go, though. Her boyfriend ruined her cosplay that she was working on and just went off like for the entire weekend. And it's not like she warned anybody that any of her cosplay was going to be laying around like that. So it was not like we knew going into it, you know, we got to tiptoe around her things. No, we just saw things just everywhere. I didn't want to touch anything because I know how cosplayers can get when they're making something, especially when they're still working on something. So I'm not touching anybody's things.
That goes back to what I said. You don't want to touch anyone's things because you don't know what's going on with it. In that case, it was like, how was I supposed to know this is still wet? It's just laid across the bed. Like, that's her boyfriend, and he doesn't even know what's going on.
Right.
Imagine how the rest of the room felt when they just walked in. They're like, okay, I can't move.
Right. It's like, this is not your opportunity to lay everything out for yourself. You have to designate a space. Like, that's why we have that rule for everybody in the room. I don't ever want to touch somebody's stuff or misplace something or break something by accident.
It's all about communication. And this person seems like they didn't even say shit. They didn't even communicate. A lot of us have con crunch at the con for like last minute things.
Yeah.
Or if something's broken and you got to fix it real quick. That's fine. As long as you communicate, hey guys, do you mind if I use this space to paint my armor real quick? I've done that before. That's fine. As long as people are prepared for it. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about packing a room. I ended up having the opposite problem. Something I didn't really even think about at the time. I'd booked a room for a con. I usually handpick all my roommates myself. That way, if they bail, it's on me. I know who I trust and I know who's good for it. I'm going to take the money up front. If you bail out, I got your money. That's a perfectly fine thing to do for y'all out there that book rooms. Make your friends put their money where their mouth is. Pay me up front. That reserves your spot. If you bail out, I get your money either way. So that way me and everyone else isn't screwed. There was a con that I didn't do that. I tried to give the benefit of the doubt to one of my friends. They vouched for their friends. They swore up and down, these two people are good for their money. I would feel more comfortable if they just paid up front, or else I'm just going to find other roommates. I have other friends that want to room with me. I get it. Some people have baggage, for lack of better words. It's them and their boyfriend. It's them and their two friends. If you get one to room with you, they all have to room with you. They're trying to travel as a group or a package. I was in a situation where half the room was full and I didn't want 3 more people. This could be an easy situation. Get those 3, room's good. I should have knew something was wrong when those 2 friends weren't willing to put their money up front. Everyone else paid within the first week of saying, hey, I want to be in your room. Those 2 were like, do we have to pay right now? I brought that up to my friend. Again, they were like, they're totally good for it. I'll vouch for them. They're not going to bail. Guess what happened 2 weeks before the con? They all bailed.
Wow.
The rest of us would have had to pay like an extra $150 for that weekend. Luckily, all the other people were cool with it. They're like, you know what? That's more space for the rest of us. I ain't hurting for money like that. So if it's $150 more, cool. And I was like, thank you so much, because I'm tired of these cheap ass people trying to room with me. I go back to my friend. They didn't have shit to say. I thought you vouched for these people. Then came the excuses. Well, so-and-so just started a new job and they can't take the time off. When did they start this new job? Well, a couple months ago. Oh, so you mean they started the new job and then confirmed they wanted to be in our room. So they've been working this new job.
Right.
So you saying they've had 5 months to request this weekend off and they never did. Well, they didn't want to ask for time off so soon when they started this new job. I'm like, I don't care. 5 months, that's plenty of time to get some time off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's the excuse for your other friend? That excuse was even more ridiculous. Well, they just decided last minute that they wanted a room with someone else who lives in town.
Whatever.
Okay, so what are you going to do about this? Everyone else paid. And anyways, long story short, it was crickets. My friend did nothing except give me excuses. I'm like, well, that doesn't help any of us. Now, either I have to pay the extra $600 this weekend, or we split it amongst ourselves, which makes it $150 more per person. The right thing to do should have been, all right, fair enough. I'll eat that extra $150 cost. I didn't tell my friend everyone else had said that. I was waiting to see what this person would say. Instead, I got, well, it's 2 weeks away. I'm sure there's going to be someone else that needs a room last minute, so I feel pretty good about it. You still sitting there trying to weasel in other people to not own up to your mess up.
Wow.
Everyone else was just like, whatever. But yet here you are. Your friends bailed and you're just like, well, maybe we'll find someone else.
Wow. So did they end up finding someone else?
They didn't find shit.
Damn.
I luckily had someone that did hit me up last minute. A friend of mine was like, dude, do you still have space? Yes, I do. And just like everyone else, they paid it right away. Unlike the 2 people that bailed.
Right.
They still paid for the Sunday to Monday price, even though they were only there Saturday to Monday.
And that's how you should be.
Yeah.
Because you're going into someone's, shit. And
Yeah.
you don't want to be that one person to be like being frugal on this kind of thing.
It's not a dollar menu. You can't pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
If this person has a room available from Thursday to Friday, you can't be like, well, how much to stay Friday night only?
Can you prorate?
Yeah, I ain't prorating shit. This ain't a buffet. It ain't a la carte. You either pay for the whole thing or you go somewhere else. Again, that was a problem I didn't really think about at the time. I'm just putting it out there so y'all can prepare for that problem. How you prevent that from happening to you? Anyone that commits, give them a timeline to either pay it all in full or at least give you a down payment.
Oh, yeah.
Then if they bail, all that money is yours.
And in the famous words of Fergie, if you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home.
Exactly.
Don't be wasting people's time, especially at conventions.
Especially for certain events, like big events where you could make or break someone's budget.
Mm-hmm. Another good point to bring up is how comfortable someone's going to be in your room. And I'm not talking about comfortable like, kicking back in the chair like, oh, this is nice. No, I'm talking about comfortable. Like, this is their house. Like, they just kicking them back and just doing things that they would regularly do at home.
Draws on the lampshade.
I know.
Pizza boxes on the ground.
Farting every 20 minutes.
Oh, don't mind me. My coochie's hot. My coochie's hot. Fanning their crotch with a pizza box.
I mean, really just laying their stuff everywhere, like personal stuff. Mm-hmm. Things that, other people might have, like Q-tips or makeup, just laying everything out. Didn't matter where. Like, I remember one time someone had a box of their personal Q-tips or cotton swabs in the kitchen area. There was a room where we had like a little kitchenette. Yeah. And I'm like, why are Q-tips and cotton swabs in the kitchen? But yeah. I'm talking like that kind of thing. I remember this one incident. I had invited someone to stay at my room, and we're very comfortable enough to have these cosplays that required people to help them get dressed. Mm-hmm. It required two people, basically, and that person just expected people in the room to help them get dressed every morning. Yeah. And some of us were still getting our own cosplays on. Some of us were still in our morning moods, routines, and things like that. So for that person to just be that comfortable and be like, hey, can you spare a minute to, help me on my thing? It's like, I don't mind zipping someone up really quick. Or no, this person had armor pieces. This person had things that you got to get up in. Yeah. And like you got to like really help this person. I'm like, that's a bit much. You're
like dedicating like half an hour of your time.
Yeah, it's one thing to, help someone do little things here and there, but it happened one time and I'm like, okay, whatever. But it happened at least a couple times per day throughout the entire weekend.
Yeah, you got to warn people about that stuff. Yes, I am notorious for having my roommates help me with my cosplay from my early Renji tattoo days where it took 4 people to draw and hand paint at the con. But at least with that, I prepared my roommates. I'm like, hey, it takes me this long to get my cosplay together. Are you guys willing to paint me? They knew about it. Mm-hmm. Or when you used to airbrush me before the con, I would let you know I'm going to be doing Renji or I'm going to do Avatar Aang. Do you have 3 hours to spare to paint me before the con?
Oh, those were the days.
But I never dropped it on anyone out of nowhere. Just like you said, I wouldn't mind if someone just needed a little zip up here and there or touch up a paint. But if you're going to be using an hour or more of someone's time, you got to let them know.
Oh, yeah, especially when I didn't know that I was supposed to prepare myself half an hour ahead of time before I even got ready, or to incorporate half an hour of any amount of time, because whatever time I have is whatever time I have. Yeah. So I'm going to use that block of time for myself, whatever I need to do. Yeah. Because if I say I got only 45 minutes to do something, I'm going to use that 45 minutes to my advantage. I don't have time to be doing other things. So for that person, it's like they were just a little too comfortable with just, being around friends and being around, doing that whole kind of thing. But you can't get too comfortable to where you're expecting someone to help you every single day.
Were they actually friends, though, or is this just a roomie? Because that makes a difference, too.
This person, I didn't know this person. I had met this person maybe a couple times in passing, but I wasn't friends with them. Yeah. I didn't really know that much about them, but I'm just like, you know what? They're cool enough in my books for them to, room with me, and that was good enough for me.
Yeah.
But that person just pretty much overstepped their boundaries and overstayed their welcome a little bit. And if that wasn't enough, just having to help this person in their cosplay every day, this person was also seeing someone at the time. And I don't know how they act in other people's rooms or if this is just a normal thing for that person, but they expected to use the room on occasion to hook up with this person that they were seeing. There's nothing wrong with that to a certain extent. Like, at least let people know this person did the right thing. They let us know, like, hey, I'm seeing somebody. They're going to come through. Is it okay if, they come over and we use the room for, like, little moments or whatever? Then, like, I was with that person for a minute. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. At least they're letting us know.
Yeah.
But then they went as far as saying, oh, can I use this room to hook up with this person? And mind you, every sleeping spot was shared. The couch, the bed, everywhere was shared. Everyone had a partner to a sleeping spot. And this person was like, is it okay if my significant other comes over and we hook up in certain places of the room? I'm just like, but there's other people here. Like, remember that rule, the whole designated space rule. You have to let people know where your space is so they don't cross those boundaries. So this person was just that comfortable enough to say and to expect us to be like, okay, yeah, that's great. Like, go ahead and just, do your thing with this person all over everybody else's space.
Yeah. I wouldn't know how to feel if my friend was like, hey, can I have sex on your bed today? Hotels are gross enough as it is.
I know.
You know the person before you probably had sex on their bed. But you don't want your roomie having sex on your spot in the bed.
Right. I don't know if it's just the way that I am or the way that I was raised, but I'm not going to just assume that I can do whatever I want in this room because there's other people sitting.
Yeah.
There's other people staying here. Like, I wouldn't go to someone's house and ask that either. So why is a hotel any different,
It's like living in the moment. You're there. You have this opportunity to hook up. Are you not going to take it?
I mean, yeah, but on my own space and time, though.
Well, some people don't have their own space. It's like when you're on vacation. For those old enough to remember, Stella got her groove back. She was in Jamaica. She had a chance to get some young dick, and she got it. So you're at a con. You have a chance to get some dick or some pussy or both together. Congratulations if you pull that off at a con.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, that's fine and dandy or whatever, but I'm saying hooking up on other people's space.
People come to cons from different parts of the country, so you might not ever see this person again for another year. So I get that person asking, but it does come to a point to where, like, it's all about everyone else in the room being comfortable.
Right.
All the rooms that I've been in that we had a hookup policy, it was always as long as everyone else was okay with it. And you have to kind of give us a time frame of when you think it's going to be. Give us some advance warnings so we can get our stuff out of there. No, like, spontaneous, I'm in the room, don't come in here unless you want to see my butthole in the air. Like, none of that stuff.
And honestly, because I used to work at a hotel, so if I was in that situation again, I'd be like, okay, just make sure you change the sheets afterwards because you can change the sheets at any given time of the day. I know that because there were some times when it was like 20 minutes before I had to leave for the day and I had to go and help a housekeeper change the sheets. So I know that that's possible. So at least be that considerate to change the sheets once you're done.
Yes.
And move on with your life.
Yes, new cosplay kids. Make sure you change the sheets after you do the boom boom.
It can be done, so don't worry about, if you think the housekeepers aren't going to be there. No, they're there, and they have that rule specifically for people who need to, like, change and freshen up their sheets throughout the day because some people stay there for long periods of time, so it's not a bad thing.
Pre-pandemic, hotels used to change your sheets every day.
Oh, yeah, or whenever you had a request.
Yeah, in case you shit your pants that day. Or shit in your sleep. You can change your sheets anytime you want. So that is your right. Just thanks to, like, trying to be more green and eco-friendly, hotels have been like, we will only change your sheets and towels every day if you ask us to. So you are allowed to do that. So if you're trying to have wild, dirty, wet sex if y'all just love bodily fluids and y'all love squirting all over the place,
Okay, no.
change the sheets.
Because you can't change the mattress. Remember that. If you're going to do water sports and stuff of that nature, go to the bathroom, okay? Like, set up something in the bathroom because sheets can always be washed. But mattresses, take your funky ass to the bathroom.
This ain't the Summer Olympics. I didn't mean that extreme, but you know.
You said it, though.
I know, damn.
You talking about liquids.
I didn't think about that much.
No.
But
You gonna have to burn that mattress at the end of the day.
I know.
Just toss that shit.
Yeah. Be courteous. Don't do it on things that can't be cleaned easily. Like, don't do it on the couch. You know,
You gotta toss that couch.
Don't wipe your ass on the curtains because, you know, hotels don't be changing curtains.
Don't be doing that.
Yeah. Anyways.
Can't wait to do a podcast about hotel horror stories.
Anyways, yeah, I assume from Shana's incident, the roomies were kind of feeling uncomfortable with the sex requests.
Especially since that room wasn't under my name.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I could say, okay, yeah, go ahead, green light. I didn't even say no. I'm just like, hey, can you ask the person whose name this hotel room is under so that it's like courteous to that person just in case you mess up, in case you like water sports and you get the bed all messed up or whatever. Just let them know just so they can think ahead and plan ahead for this kind of thing.
Boo-boo on the bed.
You just have to say that. You just had to say that.
I just had to say boo-boo on the bed. I've never said those words in a sentence before.
I mean, that you
check. Yo, some con people do be having these freaky ideas. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I canoodled with this girl, in the words of Timothy DeLaGhetto. She was really into yaoi and getting freaky. And anyways, one of the things she asked if we could do was going to result with boo-boo on the bed. And I was like...
Nobody needs to know any of those things. Nobody needs to know.
Oh, yeah, they do, because people need to know how freaky some of these con girls be getting.
Lord, just save it for at home. How come you can't do that shit at your house? At your house. Because
I know.
I'll tell you why. Because nobody wants to clean up after that shit.
At their house.
Literally. Literally. Okay?
I just sat on the bedside with the hotel Bible to my chest, and he's just like, I only do missionary style, young lady.
Okay, you know what? Hotel horror stories is going to happen. It's going to happen because I have a lot to go with that, too.
Yes, Shana can talk about how she worked at the hotel, and I can talk about how I dirtied a hotel. Both sides of the battle.
Think of the people that have to clean up after you. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. There's people, living human beings such as yourself, who have to clean up after you.
Boo-boo on the bed.
Do that shit at your house. Or at a motel where they just burn everything anyways.
At a motel. Whoa. Listen here, young lady. This is the Sheraton, okay? If you want a boo-boo on the bed, take that shit...
to the La Quinta.
To the La Quinta. La Quinta's still a hotel, by the way. You mean Motel 6.
Whatever.
Or the
to
Days
some
Inn.
people.
Oh, you throwing shade at the La Quinta just because you used to work at a Sheraton.
Oh, don't be giving up my information. Well, it's not like I work here anymore.
Anyways, go to the Sheraton Los Angeles and boo-boo on the bed.
No.
And say Shana sent you. Write it in the boo-boo for extra credit.
Oh my God.
Shana sent me.
They're like, oh no, she's back with a vengeance.
We should have paid her more than that.
Because I was a laundry girl. I had to be the one trying to figure out how I'm going to get stains out the beds.
You throw the bed away.
I would just burn that shit. If the windows could open, I would toss that shit.
I guess I've said boo-boo on the bed one too many times, but I just said it again just so I could say it. I'm so dumb right now. Let's bring it back to the opening statement. Apparently, many cosplayers feel the pandemic is over. With all the people that went to Katsucon, with how fast Hall Mat's booking up, with how ridiculously quick Katsucon sold out, it's fair to say most cosplayers don't give a shit about the pandemic anymore. They're hoping for the best. They assume in 8 months, in February, the world will be safe and they will be comfortable at a jam-packed, shoulder-to-shoulder con like Katsucon. As for Shana and I, Katsucon is actually still on the table. Like we said earlier, not going to a con unless there's a paycheck involved. 8 months away or not, I'm still not going to go to a con just for fun. For those of you that are going to Katsucon, hopefully you were able to book a room or you have a friend that saved you a spot. Ooh, real quick note about that. Oh my God, this kind of slightly burned my asshole. A lot of my friends did book a room, but ain't no damn one of them saved a spot for your boy. Didn't even think about fan service Renji, no. But when fan service Renji had press badges to hand out to y'all was quick to take it.
Ooh.
When y'all was waiting in line to go to the masquerade or to get in the rave or to go to a certain VIP party at a certain con, that line was like 2 hours long. But I was like, yo, I'm fan service Renji. I got some press and or professional badges, depending on what con we're talking about. I could just slide you my badge and you can just skip the line. But Katsucon comes around. A lot of my friends book rooms and they already had their room full instantly. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, that's how it is. Y'all didn't even think about me, even though there's been times I let you room with me. There's been times where you couldn't book from Sunday to Monday, but your boy had a room from Sunday to Monday and you needed a little space to put your luggage because you didn't want to leave the con yet. And who was there for you? Your boy Renji. I let you put your shit in my room on Sunday, gave you a place to change in a cosplay one last time. But okay, now that you got your own room, you got your own squad all of a sudden, huh?
Damn.
Or when I had a couple cos famous friends you really wanted to meet.
Ooh.
You've been such a big fan of them and you knew they were going to be at this con. You were too shy to approach them. Who took your hand and broke the ice and be like, yo, so-and-so, this is my homie. They a big fan. Who got you that close-up selfie? I did.
Damn.
But then all of a sudden, I couldn't be a part of your squad.
Forget throwing shade. You throwing the whole damn forest.
Yeah, but damn. Anyways, if y'all got rooms, don't be doing that shit to your actual real life friends. These your actual friends. I'm kind of exaggerating, but I'm kind of not. So it's like JK, but not really. I'm just being serious. A lot of people have done shit for you. So don't be forgetting that. So I'm glad I didn't plan on staying with some people. That's why I was trying to book my own room today. Just to check loyalty and check where the homies really are, if they really homies. I had to hit up a couple people and be like, hey, what's going on with Katsucon? Oh, my room's full. Oh, thanks for asking me. Even though I just talked to you last week, I talked to you a couple months ago and a couple months before that. And we've been in conversation, like, what conventions are you going to? But it's okay. It's okay.
You'll remember this.
I will. I'm definitely making a list, checking it twice.
I'm just playing, but I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just putting this out there for all the future people booking rooms and shit like that. A lot of people today were just like, well, first come, first serve. First come, first serve. I got a room for Katsu. It's not about who's the quickest to say yes. It's about who's actually going to commit and be there at the end. With all the shit that we just talked about today, right? It's about the quality of your roomies. That's what it comes down to. Right now, because all the rooms at Katsucon sold out so quickly, everyone has FOMO, fear of missing out. They're going to raise their hand when you say, I've got a room for Katsu. Who wants to room with me? Everyone's going to be like, ooh, me. I want to go. But I guarantee you, 80% of y'all that have just scooped up the first person to say, I want a room with you, they're going to bail on you.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely going to bail on you because they're just caught in the hype of the con.
I know I've never bailed on someone on a room.
Exactly. This con is 8 months away, and unless this person is professionally obligated to be there, like Artist Alley, they're a guest, they're doing a panel, they don't have to be there. They could suddenly start a new job and they can't come to the con. Or they can just be like, you know what? I kind of don't want to go to cons anymore. And you can bail on you for whatever reason. Don't be so quick to book up your rooms with the first people that volunteer. Because A, in my situation, you just shitting on your real friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then B, do you really know these people that said they're going to step up and be in your room?
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't book rooms for cons, ask around how many people get bailed on.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be surprised how many people bail on rooms. That's why people don't want to be room leaders anymore, because they have to deal with that shit.
Yep.
Because sometimes as the room leader, you got to bite the cost.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make the difference. When someone bails, oh, well, you're paying for that because you're the room leader.
Mm-hmm.
You told your roommates, we're splitting it 4 ways. This is the price. So when someone bails, that's on you. With all the shade I just threw out there, take time to think of your friends first and give them a moment to think about it. Like, I was in a conversation with someone today. Dude gave me less than 30 minutes to talk it over with you. I was like, how many spots you got? He told me. I was like, okay, cool. Well, Shana and I are thinking about going. She's in the shower right now. Let me talk to her when she gets out the shower to make sure she's cool with rooming with you and other people. Because, again, remember, pandemic, it's not just going back to a normal con again. So it's going to take some thought. Shana got out the shower and he was already like, so my room's already booked up. And now he's out boasting on Facebook like, it took less than an hour to fill my room. Well, congratulations for now. Let's see what happens in 8 months from now, buddy.
Exactly. All those people are going to definitely drop out on you.
But anyways, I ain't tripping about none of that. Like, cons will always be here. It's like, Katsucon's cool, but it ain't that cool to me. I still rather internationally travel. Our girl Pantarona Cosplay was just like, yo, if y'all don't go to Katsucon, why don't you come to Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival?
I'd rather spend my money doing a lot of other things,
Yeah,
honestly.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, to me, if the cons ain't about business, ain't about creating content, I ain't trying to go just to kick it. Like,
Right. 8 months from now, anything could happen.
yeah, exactly. So with that said, maybe we'll see you at Katsucon, maybe not. As we said in other podcasts, cons are getting way more expensive than traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the Katsucon room split, people are talking about $250 to $300 a person for the weekend. I'm thinking back to what we paid to be in Tokyo for a week. I paid less than $300 for my Tokyo apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Thailand was even cheaper. So again, it's just like, I could be at Katsucon for 4 days for $300, or I could be in Tokyo or Thailand for a whole week.
Mm-hmm.
For those that couldn't book Katsucon or whatever con you're trying to go to, there's a lot of other things you can spend your money on as well. So don't feel bad. You know, it's just like, it's still in the early stages of like cons opening back up. So you're not alone. A lot of other people have chosen not to go because they don't feel safe, or they don't feel it's going to be the same. And like we said, our girl Pantarona Cosplay from Trinidad was like, yo, Carnival happens in February. So if y'all ain't trying to go to Katsucon, y'all can definitely come party in Carnival and get you some international Caribbean experience. And I'm all about that, except I got to get in shape because I ain't trying to.
Trying to sport no feathers.
I know.
As is, be out there looking like a chocobo.
I ain't trying to be out there having people asking, yo, whose dad is that? He looked lost. Because if y'all seen pictures of Carnival,
Everybody looks hot.
sexy bodies just everywhere.
I would feel like the cooler girl, like just selling beer from the cooler.
I know. We wearing coats and shit in Carnival. Just like, hey. By February, a lot of the international borders are going to open up. So you got options. You definitely got options. You can go to Katsucon, pay a shit ton of money, or you can travel across the world. Maybe we'll see you guys there. Maybe not. Still working out them details. It's like 8 months away. I'm in no rush to go do a con like that anyway. All right, y'all. It's getting at a time where the podcast has to come to an end. I'm going to leave y'all with this question. Do y'all feel that conventions are back in full effect? Any last words, Shana?
I just want to say to please give this podcast a share and give this episode a thumbs up. It really does help us out. All you have to do is give this podcast a share on your social media, because we do take a lot of time to give you guys the best quality in all that we do here on this podcast. So please do give us a little shout out, give us a share. If all you can do is give us a thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated. I would love that from you guys so much.
Yes, that would definitely be appreciated. We've been trying so hard to make this podcast grow. We got it on YouTube. We filmed the video. We edit that shit. We put it on every streaming platform. We're on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, and we are super grateful for those that are here, those that rock with us. Y'all really do rock with us. Y'all will message me on Instagram saying how much you love the episode or what you thought was really cool. Like, we have a lot of cool talks about this. We even got people in the Netherlands that listen to this podcast because they reached out to me as well saying, y'all just doing a good job. Just keep it up. So with that said, not to be cocky, but I'm going to ride my own dick real quick. Got the saddle right here on my dick. I know when it comes to cosplay podcasts, we one of the best in the game right now.
Oh, yeah.
How consistent we are, how real we've been. And I just want more people to experience this, because once we get these views up, we can start doing bigger things for you guys. We can start having guests come in. We're just waiting for the right time to bring them on board. And y'all can help speed that process up by getting more people to check out this podcast. Like, y'all know y'all mess with us like that. So like Shana said, share it on social media, but when you do it, make sure you say something. Oh, these guys are so funny. This is so entertaining. So that way, the people that follow you have context. Because sometimes when you just hit the share button, at least on Facebook, all it's going to say is Shinobi Squad Podcast. But if you don't say anything, people are going to be like, okay, what do I need to know about this? So we'd really appreciate that extra help, y'all. You know, we doing this on the love and strength of doing podcasts for this community. All right, guys. With that said, also make sure you follow all the social medias, because, you know, that's still out there too. The links are below. Okay, I just said a lot. I'm kind of tired. I've been like trying to get on my fitness again. So I've been kind of exhausted. But I just realized I'm not wearing a hat. And it feels so nice. It's summertime. This breeze just hitting my head. It's just like, ooh, airbender status all day. All right, guys, I'm just rambling now. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast.
I'm Shana Mostella.
I'm fan service Renji. Ooh, boom, I switched it up on you. I switched it up on you.
Good thing I caught that, because I was looking at the camera at the time. So.
Shauna was looking at the camera. She usually waits for me to say I'm fan service Renji, but I pointed at her and she caught it in her peripherals.
Ooh.
So that's also why y'all gotta check it out on YouTube, you know, just so y'all catch these visual moments and these fly ass outfits. Yo, look at this shirt, purple, pink, and y'all can't even see it, but I'm wearing pink shorts. I'm wearing pink shorts right now.
He's wearing sweet and low pink.
I know. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Oh shit! I'm about to fall over.
And I'm actually wearing pants. Oh my god! I haven't worn jeans in like 2 years. Nah, more than that, 6 years.
It's one of the perks of watching the podcast on YouTube, because you get to see the fly ass outfits. All right, but anyways, I'm fan service Renji.
Shana Mostella.
Ha! Switched it up again. 2 closings. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.